Next tonight, more protests have been taking place over the immigration system. But what are they trying to achieve? This weekend saw more peaceful demos here in the East Midlands, but as groups on both sides of the debate encouraged people to take to the streets. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball can tell us more.
Yes, there were a couple of small protests in Leicester, both of those organised by anti-racism campaigners. Now, they were chanting messages of support for residents of an asylum hotel, and a handful of people turned out on Friday to oppose them. Now, there was a much larger police operation in Newark on Saturday where rival protests were organised outside the council offices. An anti-immigration demo was promoted nationally. That was met by a smaller group of counter-protesters. It all did stay peaceful, but there were some very strong feelings. A sunny Saturday afternoon in Newark, buzzing with shoppers and wedding parties, but the police weren't taking any chances. That's because of what was happening just down the road, a war of words across a car park entrance. Two tribes with a spectrum of different motives for protesting. For some, it was fear of who's coming to this country illegally. A promotional flyer showed a small boat and focused on asylum seekers. But the organisers had called for a protest against wider net immigration. That's mostly people who've moved here lawfully. And in a town with a large traveller community, Remy's family came down on traditional horses and traps.
Enough's enough, isn't it? Can't keep letting all these foreign people in, it's ruining the country.
Why do you think that?
Because it's taking all the money from the NHS, or where money should be going.
This lot over here agree with you, and this lot over here basically say the NHS is reliant on migrants.
I don't know how they're going to agree on it, but all these protesters all over the country, it's down to the government, isn't it?
The counter-protest was organised by trade unions and anti-racism campaigners. They say migrants are being scapegoated for cuts and inequality. Across the car park, speeches were made by a controversial group called Patriotic Alternative, with a call to stand up for people who are white and British. As some chanted, "We will not be replaced." A small group wearing masks joined the counter-protest, but there wasn't trouble on either side, and the police will have been relieved that there wasn't a much larger turnout.
Well, Jeremy is back with us now. Why did the protesters target Newark?
Well, fascinating this. They came to Newark because the local MP is Robert Jenrick. Now, as you know, he is currently making a lot of noise about tougher immigration controls, but what the organisers wanted to do was to highlight numbers arriving while he was still immigration minister in the last government. But I heard slogans on both sides in these protests criticising Keir Starmer. So both Labour and the Conservatives caught between opposing sides in this debate. One other thing they were calling for was the closure of what they called a migrant camp at Beckingham down the road from Newark.
So who's been staying there?
Well, this was set up as a Ministry of Defence reception centre for families who were evacuated from Afghanistan. So nothing to do with small boats, this. This is all about Afghans working for UK forces who were facing reprisals from the Taliban as a result. Now, interestingly, the last families, I'm told, moved out of Beckingham before this protest happened. That Beckingham reception centre has already closed down.
Right.
One other thing that's happened this afternoon is that nationally more than 200 organisations have signed an open letter to all political party leaders. Now, that urges them to end what they call divisive politics and demonising language which they say is now dividing the country.
Yeah, OK, Jeremy, thank you very much for that.